Want bigger arms that actually look big, defined, peaked, and powerful? Then it's time to stop treating your biceps like a one-size-fits-all muscle, because they're not. The biceps brachii isn't just a single lump of tissue, it's made up of two separate heads, and each one plays a completely different role in how your arms look. Miss one, and you're shortchanging your entire physique. The long head creates that dramatic peak when you flex, while the short head adds that full, thick look from the front. If you've been curling like crazy and still not seeing real shape or definition, this is probably why. Most lifters fall into the trap of just picking up a barbell or dumbbells and curling away with zero thought behind it. And sure, you'll get a pump, but are you actually building the biceps you want? Or just spinning your wheels, that big but soft look? Or thick arms with no peak? It's because you're not training with intention. You're not thinking about which head of the biceps each exercise is hitting. And when you ignore that detail, you plateau hard. This isn't about doing more curls, it's about doing the right ones with precision. And that starts right here. So let's break it down properly, because this is where most people start to go wrong. The biceps has two heads, the short head and the long head, and knowing how each functions is the difference between average arms and truly eye-catching ones. The short head sits on the inner side of your upper arm. That's what gives your biceps that thick, broad look when you're standing relaxed or doing a front double biceps pose. It's your visual front width. Now flip the arm slightly and flex. You see that peak that juts up when someone has well-developed arms? That's thanks to the long head, which runs along the outer portion of your upper arm and connects higher up on the shoulder. Here's the thing. They don't just magically grow together from generic curls. They respond to different joint angles, arm paths, and grip widths. One exercise might hit both, but never equally. And if your training isn't deliberately structured to challenge each one, you're going to see lopsided results. One side may grow thick, while the other stays soft or flat. The truth is, symmetry and peak require surgical precision. And that means choosing your biceps exercises with strategy, not habit. Let's dive into the short head of the biceps first, the one that's all about giving your arms that dense, wide look from the front. To truly emphasize this part of the muscle, you need to adjust your elbow position. Specifically, the short head activates best when your elbows are placed in front of your torso, which changes the angle of resistance and shifts the load inward. This is why exercises like preacher curls, concentration curls, and wide grip barbell curls are your go-to. Moves they naturally guide your arms into that forward position and minimize long head recruitment. Preacher curls are one of the most effective because they pin your arms down and eliminate cheating. You can't swing, you can't rock. Just controlled, focused contractions right where the short head lives. Spider curls are another underrated gem. They put you in a similar forward arm position while allowing a full stretch at the bottom and a hard peak contraction at the top. Even cable front double bicep curls, where you bring your hands up in a wide arc, keep the elbows elevated, and force short head activation. If your biceps look flat or lack width, this is your red flag that the short head probably isn't being hit hard enough. Now, let's shift gears and focus on the long head, the section of your biceps that creates that tall, peaked shape when you flex. This is what gives your arms that three-dimensional, mountain-like look from the side and makes your physique stand out in a t-shirt. But here's the kicker. Most people barely train it without even realizing it. To target the long head effectively, your elbows need to be positioned behind your torso, which stretches the muscle and activates it through a deeper range of motion. One of the absolute best exercises for this is the incline dumbbell curl. Sitting back on an incline bench puts your arms in a position where the long head is fully lengthened at the bottom of each rep, forcing it to do most of the work. Drag curls are another powerful option. They keep the elbows pulled back while eliminating momentum, which isolates the long head and minimizes shoulder involvement. For added variety, close grip barbell curls and hammer curls with a slight backward lean can also light up the outer part of the biceps, helping build that peak. If you want your biceps to rise up like a mountain, training the long head isn't optional, it's essential. This is where things start to fall apart for most people. They go into the gym, grab a barbell, and do the same basic curl variations every single time, without realizing they're only hitting the short head over and over again. Movements like standard standing barbell curls, dumbbell curls, and easy bar curls with a regular shoulder width grip might feel great, but they're primarily focused on that inner bicep. And while the short head gives you thickness from the front, it doesn't create the kind of shape that pops when you flex. That's why so many people end up with biceps that look big when relaxed, but disappear the moment they try to flex for a peak. The problem isn't effort, it's lack of strategy. If you never change your elbow position, grip width, or the angle of resistance. You're just reinforcing the same muscle activation patterns over and over. The long head stays undertrained, and you stall out. But here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your workout, just tweak it. Adjust your setup to bring your elbows behind your body. Narrow your grip. Choose exercises that stretch the outer bicep. These small, deliberate changes unlock massive visual results over time. Quick break if this is helping you out. Hitting that like button and subscribing really helps me a lot, and I seriously appreciate the support. Here's something that gets overlooked way too often. Your biceps are a small muscle group, and they don't need brutal weight to grow. They need precision. If you're swinging 60-pound dumbbells with sloppy form, half-repping your way through sets just to feel strong, for 2 seconds, you're missing the point entirely. Biceps respond best to controlled tension, not momentum. This is about quality, not ego. You're not training to impress the guy across the gym, you're training to shape and grow your arms in a way that actually shows. That means focusing on strict form, using a full range of motion, and contracting the muscle intentionally during every single rep. Feel the stretch at the bottom, squeeze hard at the top, and don't rush the movement. Tempo matters. Control matters. And variety, that's your secret weapon. Doing the same curls over and over not only limits your growth, but increases your risk of repetitive strain. Instead, rotate through different movements. Mix incline curls with preacher curls. Add spider curls one week and switch to drag curls the next. You're not just building muscle, you're sculpting it. And that requires a smarter, more refined approach than just grabbing the heaviest weight and curling until failure. A simple rule that can take your bicep training to the next level? Always include one movement for each head, short and long, in every single workout. It's an easy guideline, but the impact is huge. Think of it like balancing out your arm blueprint. Preacher curls paired with incline dumbbell curls? That's a combo that hits both ends of the spectrum. Preachers isolate the short head with strict control and forward elbow placement, while incline curls stretch and target the long head in its lengthened, most active state. Want more variation? Try concentration curls to blast the short head and throw in drag curls to light up the long head with a unique elbow path. This kind of intentional pairing turns a basic arm workout into a true sculpting session. You're not just doing curls for the sake of doing curls. You're carving out width, peak, and symmetry all at once. And that's the real secret behind next level arms. It's not more reps or more sets. It's more precision and planning. People who just wing it get generic results. People who think through their programming and target their biceps from all angles, those are the ones walking around with truly impressive arms. And here's something most people don't realize until it's too late. The long head is the real showstopper, but it's also the hardest to develop. It's the part that gives your biceps that sharp, high peak, the kind that stretches the sleeve and turns heads. But building it isn't easy, because the long head only gets fully activated when it's under stretch, and that means putting it in positions where your elbows are behind your body. That also means you're hitting it in its most vulnerable, least comfortable state. Take incline dumbbell curls, for example. They feel brutal for a reason. Sitting back with your arms hanging behind you creates a deep stretch and forces the long head to work from a position of disadvantage. That's exactly why it's so effective, but also why most people avoid it. It's not fun, it's not flashy, but it's exactly what the long head needs to grow. The more you challenge it in that stretched position, the more it responds. So if you're chasing that iconic, sleeve-busting peak, don't shy away from the burn. Lean into it. Growth isn't supposed to feel easy, it's supposed to feel earned. At the end of the day, bigger biceps don't come from blindly curling heavier weights or cranking out endless sets. They come from knowing exactly what you're training and why. If you're not being intentional, if you're not actively thinking about whether you're hitting the long head or the short head, then you're just guessing. And guessing doesn't build great arms. But once you understand how to strategically target both heads, everything changes. Your training becomes smarter, your progress faster, and your results more dramatic. So ditch the guesswork, train with purpose, and start building arms that actually demand attention.